Roger Stone made headlines after President Trump commuted his prison sentence over the weekend. But there's a side to Stone's story that you won't hear anywhere else, with a twist that will surprise you. CBN News' David Brody brings us this exclusive interview with Roger Stone.
Now that Roger Stone is no longer going to jail, he has quite a few people to thank. Of course, Donald Trump right at the top of the list. But spiritually speaking, he has someone even greater than Trump to thank, and that is Jesus Christ.
So how did this come about? Well, about 6 months ago, in the middle of all of his legal troubles, Roger Stone attended an outdoor prayer service in Florida, led by Franklin Graham. Stone tells me he was desperate, struggling, stressed out. Graham had met with him before the event, and that night, Stone made his move.
At that moment, I felt the calling. I stood up with 500 other people. I wasn't the slightest bit embarrassed. I confessed that I was a sinner. I repeated a pledge that he recited, and it was if a cement block was lifted off my chest. I can't even explain it.
Stone says it gave him security about his future.
I was never scared. I was never worried. I was completely confident that the Lord would guide the president to do the right thing.
For decades, the provocateur enjoyed a reputation as the bad boy of politics. Then came convictions of lying to Congress and obstructing a congressional investigation into Trump's 2016 presidential campaign.
I don't regret anything that I did in 2016 because I didn't break the law. They wanted me to lie, to bear false witness against the president in return for some kind of leniency.
Most would expect Stone to be on the warpath against his enemies. But now, despite anger against prosecutors that he says were dishonest and politically motivated, Stone says he's on a new path.
Here's the big difference, David.
Yeah.
In the old days, I would have wanted revenge. I would have wanted to take revenge against every one of them. But now I realize that vengeance is God's. It's not mine. I no longer am obsessed with, the Sicilian concept of revenge, which generally speaking is a dish that tastes best when eaten cold.
Still, Stone couldn't resist putting what he's been through in spiritual terms.
I really do believe that those who are trying to undo this president, those who are trying to destroy me, trying to destroy Michael Flynn, who's a very good man and a great American patriot, war hero, I do believe they're satanic. They cut corners, and what's outrageous is their arrogance, their moral superiority, when in fact they have no morals at all. I don't believe that any of these people involved in my prosecution are really believers in God.
CBN News reached out to former members of the special counsel's office about Stone's satanic remark. A spokesman declined comment. When it comes to Stone, however, one thing hasn't changed.
I can guarantee you I don't intend to become boring.
But still, he has regrets.
I do regret the fact that it took this long for me to return to the church, because I realized that, I could have had the solitude and the solace and the strength and the fortitude to fight this much earlier. I went through a year of hell before I found the way.
Will he find the way to pray for his enemies?
The Lord will deal with them. So it's not like they will go unpunished. That makes it easier to pray for them for when that moment comes.
As for Stone's immediate future, he wants to help re-elect President Trump, this time from his perch on the outside. As for his purpose going forward, he's waiting on God.
I think God put me in this position at this time for a purpose. So if God has a mission for me, he hasn't revealed it to me yet, but if he does, I'm ready for duty.
And he can expect a lot of eyes will be on him. David Brody, CBN News, Washington.